You on? Cool. All right, so here is the Canvas course. You guys should be checking this fairly regularly. The heart and soul of the Canvas class is the modules section. So the modules section will have everything listed by week, basically. All of your homework, all the quizzes, all the kind of stuff will be in Canvas. Okay. Let's go through the syllabus really fast. That's everyone's always favorite thing. Syllabus. There, that's the part you guys care about, which is the grading scheme. So 30% of your grade is due to individual homework. These are going to be mostly programming assignments. There will be some worksheets, computer architecture kind of stuff, might have worksheets or Canvas quizzes and things like that. A lot of it's going to be programming assignments and assembly. You guys are going to learn assembly programming in this class, and you're going to basically, the way I teach it is like, here's how you do it in C++, here's how you do it in assembly. And it's not too hard. Assembly sometimes has a reputation of being like hard to understand. It's not, at least not the kind of assembly we're learning. We're going to be learning ARM32, which is the kind of assembly programming that you'd use on, try to find my cell phone, it's over there, on a cell phone, things like that. So those, most all cell phones use ARM processors. And in fact, ARM is the most popular CPU type in the world. If you want to know what kind of CPU is inside of that thing or that thing, it's probably ARM. It's not Intel, usually. Everybody knows about Intel processors because they're in the big boxes and things like that. We all know about NVIDIA and AMD GPUs. But ARM is, by far and away, by an order of magnitude, the most popular CPU manufacturer in the world. And they don't manufacture any CPUs, which is pretty amazing. What they do is they design CPUs, or they design kind of CPUs, and then they license them out to different people. And so Qualcomm, which you might have heard of, you guys know Qualcomm? Make a lot of cell phone chips and things like that. They're really big in San Diego. They were right next to our campus. I kind of worked with them, sort of, not exactly, but sort of, for a couple of years. And they make the Snapdragon cores and things like that, like that inside of it. The cell phone, Apple licensed ARM designs to make their new M1 chip, things like that. So ARM basically kind of designs the CPU, and then they sell it to Qualcomm and Apple and these other companies, and they actually make the chip and fabricate it and stuff like that. So ARM is a fabless design company. They don't actually make any chips, they just design. Great business model. NVIDIA is trying to buy them right now. Whether or not that goes through, we'll see. Right now they're owned by SoftBank, which is a cell phone company in Japan. Kind of a weird take. ARM is based out of England, or was originally. Okay, so anyhow, we're going to be learning ARM assembly. That's going to be the majority of your points here. Group homework, it's going to be projects, mostly. Unless I can think of something else to do. It's mostly going to be projects. It's going to be a big chunk of your grade. So don't half-ass your projects, because there's going to be like 5. You know, that's 30% of your grade. Okay. So we do the projects, go big, go hard. You know, I'll tell you probably some other time of some of my other favorite projects. There's been a lot over the years that have been super impressive. Group made an autonomous party boat. You toss it onto a pool. It drive itself around the pool, playing party music. People dance. It's kind of cool. Made out of styrofoam. It's not like I'm expecting you guys to spend thousands of dollars. The guy already had a light spread, you know, for that one. You don't need to, you know, like cardboard is fine. You know? I'm sure you guys all have Amazon boxes lying around from the pandemic. There's going to be textbooks. Textbooks free. I'd say not to use Syllabus this year. Yeah, the nice thing about Zybooks is that it integrates with Canvas, right? So when you do the readings, it just reports the scores, and you don't have to take a test or anything like that. Because this isn't Zybooks, you're going to have to take tests on the textbook. But you don't have to pay money, so that's good. I was a pilot professor for the Dive into Systems computer architecture textbook. It's based out of Swarthmore, I think. I was going through it, and I realized they offered me $100, and I never claimed it. Like, here's your stipend, it's ready, you just need to fill out this form and send it to us. And I was like, oh, I never responded to that. That was like 2 years ago, it's probably too late Oh, $100 down the drain. But basically, I'll be issuing you guys readings out of the textbook, and you'll read them and then take like a Canvas quiz or whatever on it. Every day in this class, there will be a daily quiz that will count as your attendance. Okay, so make sure you take one for today, or you're not going to be counted as here. Okay. Very important. Take quizzes each day. If you miss 2 weeks of school, you drop. Okay? So even if you're going to get a 0 on the quiz, open the quiz up, spend it without answering a question, take the 0, because you get a 0 anyway, right? If you don't take it, at least it counts as you being there. Okay? So they're not supposed to be hard. They're just basically, the reason why I do it is because I test what I just taught so that I can see if you actually understood what I taught, because if you don't understand it, then I need to go over it some more. Right? It's a really bad idea to just move on if people don't understand something. Yeah.
So we find those on Canvas?
They'll be on Canvas. They're not up yet.
Oh.
At least they shouldn't. I go through and whenever I import a new class into Canvas, I have to turn off everything. And it doesn't, like it'll show it being off, and then you refresh and it's back on again. And so last year I had students like, tell me about this assignment. I'm like, what? Huh? It was like leftover from last year. So if you see any of those, let me know. And then we're going to be doing these things called competency exams. If you've had me before, you know what this is about. If you haven't, a competency exam is a replacement for midterms and finals. Okay? So rather than doing a big high stakes midterm and final, instead, every time we finish a topic, like we talked about the memory system with caching and all that kind of stuff that would make that thing explicable to you, why it's better to go left to right rather than top to bottom. Once we finish that section, there will be a competency exam. Short test, medium hard difficulty, not supposed to be easy. And if you get a 75% or above, you're marked as competent. You get 100%. If you don't, you can take it again the next week. Okay? So these are designed to be somewhat low stakes. I mean, if you keep failing them, then nothing will save you. But basically, if you fail it, then you can take it again the next week. If you fail that one, then you can take it again the next week. Different tests, different questions. But you have to go into the tutorial center. Okay? So the tutorial center is across the pit, or you can contact them online. The link is on Canvas. And you have to go over the memory subsystem with the tutor, or whatever the topic is. And the tutor will give you a password. Say the password is Harambe, and then it'll unlock the quiz for you for the third try. If you fail that, there may or may not be a fourth try. Depends on my mood. Depends on what students do. Sometimes my tests are harder than I anticipate, and so I sometimes do a fourth test. No. But if you do that, you have to again go into the tutorial center, do a review with the TC tutors, and they will help you understand it. Because my goal in this class, in all my classes, is for you guys to understand all the material. I'm not here to fail you. I'm not here to filter you out, like my college did. My college, you had to get 2 A's and a B, or you were kicked out of computer science. 40, 41, 45. 2 A's and a B. Any worse than that, 2 B's and an A, kicked out. You're not worthy to be a computer science major. So, I don't believe that. I think everybody, maybe not everybody, but everybody can understand computer science. They put the time and effort in. Maybe not everybody. There's maybe some people who just can't get it no matter what they try, but those people are kind of far. I think anybody can get it. And by the point you guys are here in fourth semester, you can all get the material. Nothing we're going to talk about in this class is that hard. So I want you all coming out of here having a good understanding of computer architecture, of assembly programming, and be able to do cool projects. Because these things look damn good on a job interview. I had a student apply for a job, and they're like, tell me about, medical school. She was applying to medical school. And they're like, tell us about something cool you did in college. She's like, let me tell you about when I made whack-a-board. And whack-a-board was like whack-a-mole. Like they built an actual booth, like you guys don't have to do this. Like air pistons and everything like that, and they had a sensor on it, so you hit it on top, it would go down and get points. And it was damn impressive. And so she pulled out her phone and showed a video a Whack-A-Porg running. They had, you know, Porg from the horrible Star Wars movie. Which one was it? Episode 7. Yeah, these stupid like gopher-like creatures or puffin creatures. And so they got some stuffed ones and they hit it. And these kinds of projects look really good when you're applying for a technical job. When you like the guy who made the Raspberry Pi, which is what we're going to be using in this class, he got his job by showing off essentially a Raspberry Pi project, which you'd be like, wait, how is that possible? How did it exist? Because he kind of made something like that as his thing. He brought in to his job interview a working, he wired it all up himself, a working, essentially 1980s era computer that he built himself. It's like, this is the kind of stuff I like to do. And they're like, that's awesome, you're hired. Okay? So the projects you do in this class, I highly recommend you do a good job, not just for the grades, not just for the extra credit, because when people go above and beyond, I get tons of extra credit for the projects, but also because it helps you get a job or to benefit school family. Because and you got it. And the people were like, haha, that's cool. That's amazing. Okay, any questions about the grades, stuff like that? Nope.
Does anyone else want the torch?
What's that?
Anyone else want the torch?
Okay.
Debbie, you want the torch?
Switch off on the recording.
There you go. Have fun.
Oh boy, enjoy it. I got that.
So, we are going to be using Discord for this class. The link is published on Canvas. Click on it, join the Discord server, read when you join it displays a little like help thing. You have to tag yourself for CSCI 45, bless you. You have to tag yourself for CSCI 45. When you do so, the CSCI 45 lecture room and help center will turn on. And Discord is used for office hours. Office hours are online on Discord. And it's also used for help and things like that. So if you're having trouble with a homework assignment, like I'm getting this weird error message, I don't understand it, post on the help center, and somebody will help you. It could be a classmate, could be an experienced teacher, a tutor, could be me, could be an alumni. A lot of people just hang out. Vargas, for example, helps out all the time with the CSCI 41 people and things like that. So it's a great way of learning, right, Vargas? Yeah. Like if you have to help people with their bugs, it helps you learn computer science yourself. Okay, so that's the procedural stuff. You guys want to see some assembly?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you don't want to?
Yeah, well, me.
That's all right. You're recording anyway. So. Okay.
I have a tripod for a phone that's got flexible legs I can bring in. So
Yeah. I mean, hopefully this thing will be installed. They were hoping to have it done, but it's the first day of school, so like they're running around like that.
I'll bring it in Thursday
But
just
yeah,
in case.
just in case, that'd be nice. I found out this place is really small. This is more of a small airport than a college. It's funny. Okay. So, anything else in the syllabus now? All right, cool. So we're going to be using a Raspberry Pi as our class server. We're not using them, like if you've had me before, we're not using csci4x.com. We are using a Raspberry Pi. Do you guys know what a Raspberry Pi is? Let me show you what a Raspberry Pi is. Raspberry Pi 4, what we're using. And good luck finding one right now due to the coronavirus. These things are supposed to be 35 bucks. They're selling for 200 right now. Yeah.
Really? Did you get the new Zero?
I did not. I did just buy a Pi 400 for $100.
Wow.
So these things are little computers. They're not like Arduinos. I don't know if you guys have ever seen has anyone here seen an Arduino before? They're like these little credit card sized computers that have 8K of RAM, and you can, like my daughter's made like little elementary school projects with it. Like she made these little fishies like kind of move like this and stuff like that. Super cute. Raspberry Pis are actually real computers. And this is a ARM processor there. It comes with 2 or 4 amazing 8 gigs of RAM, which is actually kind of amazing because it's all built into the little chip here. Like the RAM is integrated into the whole thing. It's called a system on a chip, SoC. It's powered by USB. The old Raspberry Pi drew 2 watts of power. Pretty, like, what? Yeah, 2 watts of power. The modern ones actually consume. They have like multiple cores and like they're 1.8 gigahertz and things like that. They're actually strong enough now that they need a heat sink on them. Before you didn't even need a heat sink. It's 2 watts. That's it. Things about that. So got to plug in Ethernet. Got your USB. Plug in a mouse. Plug in a keyboard. Plug that into your router, or you can use Wi-Fi. HDMI, get a micro HDMI converter, plug it into your monitor. You got a computer for 35 bucks. Pre-pandemic, 35 bucks. Pretty, like, that's pretty amazing. Like, what? Yeah. That's pretty damn amazing, you know? You can use your cell phone power adapter to power it, you know? Like, what? Yeah. These things are really cool. And they're just a computer. And the best thing about it is if you're using them in a project and you accidentally start a fire and you melt it, you're out 35 bucks, right? Like, it's not the end of the world. But this stuff here, you guys see all these GPIO pins here? That stuff there is how you do the projects. Okay? So on Thursday, next class, I'm going to hand out a Raspberry Pi to each of you. And you're going to be given a bunch of sensors, a bunch of motors, a bunch of wires, and breadboards, and LEDs, and all this cool stuff. The school has spent probably around $50,000 for it. You don't get to keep it. You have to give it back. And if you break it, you have to pay me the 35 bucks. Yeah.
So is most of the class centered on the Raspberry Pi?
Server is going to be on a Raspberry Pi, and the projects are going to be on a Raspberry Pi. Everything is ARM. ARM. Yep. And yeah, and it's really weird because these things don't seem like it's capable of supporting a class, right? But here's the weird thing: the Raspberry Pi actually has more juice than the class server that I use for CSCI 41. It's a quad core, whereas the class server is dual core. You know, now it's maybe not a fair comparison, but it's got the same. It's got 4 gigs of RAM, just like the server. So, and then when my Raspberry Pi 400 comes in, it's 1.8 gigahertz instead of 1.5, and it looks stupid. Like the Raspberry Pi 400 looks dumb as hell. Like this kind of looks cool, and I got a little case for it and everything, but it's noisy. Like it's got this little tiny fan on it. It sounds like there's a dentist like drilling out my teeth constantly. It's kind of why I'm switching to a Pi 400, because the Pi 400 is passively cool. But it looks stupid. This is it. So I'm gonna have that, like, that's your server.
Oh my God.
And it's gonna be hanging off the side of the bookshelf in my house.
Oh God.
So that's where the server is now, because the power cable doesn't reach the top of the bookshelf. So what there is my router's on the top of the bookshelf. There's an Ethernet cable hanging out like this. The Pi's here, and then the power cable. So it's just dangling like that. And I'm gonna have a keyboard just like. That's gonna be your class. Look at the time. The aesthetics, like, okay, whatever. But that's the fastest Raspberry Pi they make right now, which is a damn keyboard. So it's like a toy for kids or something.
That's pretty good I/O for what it is.
It is, and it's cheaper than a Pi 4 because everybody wants a Pi 4, and so a Pi 4 is $200, and this is $100, and it's faster. I'm willing to put up with the aesthetics. Maybe I'll like duct tape it to like the back of my bookshelf so I don't have to look at it or something. Okay, so let's get everybody logged in on the server. So the address for the server is, once somebody logs in, you can switch out with them, and then you can log in as well. The address, right here, it is rpi.csci4x.com. So please launch PuTTY on your PCs here. And for the host name right here, you can type in rpi.csci4x.com. Uppercase, lowercase, does not matter with internet host names. True story. And when you log in, your username and your password is going to be your last name _ your ID. That is your username but it's also your password. If you have an apostrophe in your name, if you have multiple last names, you might need to come talk to me because you can't have spaces or apostrophes in your last name in Unix. But like, if it was me, my last name is Kearney, and let's say my ID was 12345, then my username and password would be Kearney_12345. So
Oh, you can
do that, hit open,
Kearney, saying the password is denied.
Access denied.
access denied.
Yeah.
Is there an underscore or no underscore?
There's an underscore. Let me try this. It might be.
It is open. It's open now.
Aw. I don't know. No, it's connected, but the password's not. Well, let's not worry about that. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out later. It's fine. What's that? If you have a Mac, then use iTurn2. And it's better than the terminal that comes with Mac. And what you're going to do is you're going to launch it, and then connect with me. So what you're going to do from a Mac is you're going to type this. After you launch the terminal, or iTurn2, you're going to type in your username at rpi.csci4x.com. And that will connect you to the user. And it's going to ask you for, let's see if I can log in this way. Be an interesting experiment. Connection.
Yeah. So the unaccepted.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll play around with that tonight. See what's going on with that. I've switched internet providers, so it's possible Comcast is going to try and play some shenanigans, not allow remote access that way. So, the port forwarding set up, so I was able to connect to it. But I don't know. We'll see. Not a big deal. Let's just worry about that on Thursday. So let me connect to the non-Raspberry Pi server and just give you guys a little taste of what we're talking about here. Font a little bit bigger for you. And also, both these classes have a break built into them, so whenever you guys want to take a break, just be like, hey, can I take a break? And then we'll do a 10-minute break, okay? No? Okay, cool. Once you get me talking, like, I'll talk. Right? All right. So let's learn some stuff. Math is all this stuff. Let's just delete all that. Type in hello world. Okay. So